with their nails done now.
The movie starts with a sea with a huge waves and storm on it. Later there seems a fishing yacht which is stuck in it and down is being written. Somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. The waves were hitting the yacht very hard. Even the thunder were hitting it sometimes. When one of the thunderbolts hit the yacht, a two-man we got dropped in ocean and disappeared in waves soon. One man saw them dropping and he told the captain to have turned the yacht back, but captain answered that he couldn't because the waves were pushing him. After few minutes of this nightmare the yacht got on the calm sea, then everyone saw that they just came out of the huge storm and they turned around and saw the island. Then there was a tidal Skull Island. Everyone was looking excited, but then one rock got their mind. It was just a giant mountain-like rock, but then they saw a giant ape standing on it. They started to panic, but then they noticed that he wasn't even looking at them. Gorilla we know as Kong was staring at the storm with a scared face. They found time and they got on the island. After 10 seconds they saw two Osprey helicopters, cause there was an outpost on Skull Island and they noticed them. They landed their Ospreys and picked up the fishermans, and they left soon. After that Kong's face was getting more scared and scared. But he got brave and looked at the storm with an angry eyes, and then he saw a blue lighting coming from the storm which is around island. Then he saw a figure which was being seen through thunderbolts. It was getting closer and closer and we saw a very familiar face. It was Godzilla. He was bit changed from Godzilla King of the Monsters event. He looked at Kong like he had seen him before. After a minute of silence Kong roared at Godzilla. Godzilla roared too. And Godzilla's roar had put the island into chaos. Bats started to rise, and wildlife was running fast as hell. Kong got angry and jumped from his rock to hit Godzilla. Godzilla was standing in water with half of his legs. Godzilla stood back and Kong jumped on the sea. Then Godzilla hit Kong with his giant tail and Kong got pushed back to the beach. Then Godzilla went towards him. Kong recovered soon and stood up. Godzilla confronted Kong and bit him in the neck, and he was dragging Kong to the center of the island. When he finally got Kong there, Kong got out from Godzilla's neck and started to push him in the face. Godzilla fanned his tail. Kong jumped up and got on the neck of Godzilla. He soon got Godzilla ground and he started to push him in the face. He hit 4 times, but then Godzilla hit his tail to Kong and Kong got off Godzilla. Godzilla was standing up and we see a blue lighting on his tail. Kong was climbing on a giant mountain to then have jumped down to Godzilla. Back of Godzilla was being filled with blue color, and Kong jumped down to hit Godzilla. Godzilla unleashed his atomic breath and hit Kong in the air. It affected Kong, but he anyway jumped and hit Godzilla. This was a heavy hit, so it set a dust there. Kong was exhausted and he was looking for Godzilla in the dust. Then here comes a Godzilla's face. He is looking at Kong like he hasn't even been hit. Godzilla turned back. He hit his tail again. But this time it was 4 times stronger. Kong flew away and he crashed to a giant rock. Then he got knocked out so hard. Godzilla was going towards him with a face of devil. He had a scary face as hell. Kong was trying to get up, but Godzilla stepped on his chest and he could kill Kong by just pushing it harder. Kong knew that he could die, but he was keeping his angry face. Godzilla looked at Kong once again and then he just took his leg off from Kong's chest. He showed mercy. Then Godzilla turned back and went towards the ocean. Kong was getting up, when Godzilla swam into the ocean. He disappeared in the water. Kong stood up and looked at the storm where Godzilla was gone. He started roaring loudest he could. And this brings us to a title, Godzilla vs. Kong. After that there is a title 1 week later. There is a city entitled New York. We see Madison Russell, which is coming back from school. She is getting in a quite rich house. Then we see Mark Russell and Dr. Chen, who got married and they live together. There was Dr. Chen doing his houseworks. Madison had a depression after everything she saw 1 year ago and she sat on the sofa to watch some TV. Then Mark Russell came from kitchen and sat next to her. He was about to say something when phone called him. Mark got up to answer and it was Sam. Yeah, Sam Coleman. He called Mark and told him that they needed him and Dr. Chen in the castle. Bravo. Mark said okay, and then he sat next to Madison again and he told her, I'm sorry. I've to leave. Babysitter will take care of you. Madison stared at him for 5 seconds and then she just hugged him. Then Mark told Dr. Chen and they left. Soon they got visited by Osprey helicopter and they flew away. In Osprey there was a silence till Mark asked, why did you need us? Then Sam answered, we have new technology that America gave us and we want you to test it. Mark asked what was that and Sam answered that it was some kind of a cannon with powerful shot and we were curious about it and we wanted you to check it. Mark asked, so that's why you made me come here? Far away from my daughter? He started shouting. Then Dr. Chen was trying to calm him down. Then Pilot said that they were here. Dr. Chen decided to take a look to Castle Bravo. It was more modern-like base than it was in 2019. It was more huge and more safe. Then Chen asked, how could you? Then Sam answered, we were still building this in 2019. Don't you remember? Chen answered, yeah, but I didn't expect this far. Then Osprey went into the base and landed. They took Mark and Chen to check a new cannon, a shooting cannon. After that they should have met in a meeting center. While going to a meeting center, Mark saw a giant axe which was still getting built, and he asked, what is this? Sam answered, it's an axe. We are planning to make Mecha Titan for some situations that we won't be able to control. Mark looked back at axe and continued walking. When they met in the discussion center, Mark was angry. He was asking why they brought him there. He knew that they would not bring him just because of a cannon. Then Canolan, Admiral of a G team, answered, we see Godzilla moving around one island only, where we are having an outpost. He is surrounding the island from 200 kilometers and he is swimming around it all the time. We wanted you to come and find out what's happening. Mark said, show me the photos. They showed photos on monitors and Mark said, maybe because Godzilla is afraid that this Titan which is on the island, is up to do something. They agreed. Then one of the men from the Monarch came out. He was new buddy. Let's call him David. He said that they should have gone there. Mark asked him, who are you? David introduced himself and he advised them again to have gone on Skull Island and have found out what was happening. Then they told Mark that he lost his father. Mark got a bit sad. Then we are seeing Isla Damara where seems volcano and Rodden's wing. Rodden is sleeping there. After that we get to see a destroyed village. After a few seconds there is arriving a NASA spaceship-like airship, which has logo on it. And there is written Ankalgon. Village was destroyed over a year ago, so there were some lizards living there. When airship landed at the road of the village, every lizard ran. We see evil person coming down from the ship. Later there seems two twin girls with him, like Gamora and Nebula. Then one of the Ankalgon's soldier calls this old person, Mr. Conrad. Is this that place you told us? Then Conrad, from Kong Skull Island, which was pretty old, answered, yes. That is it. Then we see a shot of twins, one of them is Isa Gonzalez. Then one fat doctor is coming down from the ship, who was always complaining. Then in front of them we see an entrance of underground bunker. They go towards it and we see the door opening. And here comes Alan Jonah with some of the mans from the bunker. Alan and Conrad hugged each other and Alan invited them inside. They got inside and they went towards one room. They opened the door and they showed them Ghidorah's head. After enjoying some tea, Conrad told them that they wanted to take it. Then one man said that it'd be $13,000. Then Ankalgon guys showed up their guns, and they made them to have given Ghidorah's head for free. They took Ghidorah's head outside with a truck. Then Ankalgon boys somehow attached Ghidorah's head on airship with some really big ropes. They got in the airship. Alan Jonah followed them too. They lifted of and left. Before lifting of, airship made some crazy noises. Rodden woke up and he saw a giant airship which was taking Ghidorah's head. Rodden got shocked. He remembered everything what happened 1 year ago, and he didn't want anything like that to happen again. He got angry. He was more burning than he was 1 year ago. He stood up and slowly started flying towards the airship. Ankalgon saw him and they started flying fast. Rodden chased them. The spaceship was flying above the sea and Rodden was right behind it. They turned their max speed but Rodden was still chasing it. They started shooting rockets from special weapons that were on spaceship, but it didn't even affect Rodden. Rodden was about to get them when one soldier told Conrad they should have turned to the right because there was a village, another village, not Isla Damara, and Rodden wouldn't want to destroy the village cause of Godzilla, so they turned to the right and got near to the village. Rodden noticed the village and he flew up so his wind force wouldn't burn the village to the ground. Rodden was chasing them from above. The village was not big so they flew out soon. Rodden started coming down. Then they turned the spaceship to mountains. There were too many mountains and Rodden was chasing them anyway. Then ship turned back and flew right under Rodden. Rodden tried to turn back but he crashed to one of the mountains and he got knocked out. When they finally got out from there they continued flying and they disappeared soon. After few hours we are seeing city Tokyo and a bit far from there is one laboratory which is called Divinesco. They were helping Ankylogon. Tokyo police had a doubt about this place, but when they checked this place, there was too much money paid for it, so they didn't shut it down. They brought Ghidorah's head there. Alan Jonah came down and the scientists hugged him. Looks like they knew him before. They gave Ghidorah's head to them and soon they made the head empty from blood. They distributed blood in 2 different containers. The most amazing part is that the blood was still lighting. After that, Alan Jonah made the Ankylogon to have brought the ships cause they were going on Skull Island. After that there seems a ship which is going in the ocean. We see Alan Jonah which is explaining soldiers that they should get Ghidorah's blood and Kong's blood. Why? Because they wanted Titans to control over the earth and Godzilla wasn't allowing them and he was keeping them away. So they would have made Kong stronger. Kong would kill Godzilla. Then one of the soldiers shouted, "Okay, Kong killed Godzilla, what then? Do we have a guarantee that he will let Titans do whatever they want?" Alan Jonah answered, "No. And that's why we kept another half of blood in laboratory. We will make something that will kill Kong." "What will it be?" asked soldier. Alan Jonah answered, "You'll see." Then another soldier shouted who was that Kong and why he was more important than other Titans. Then James Conrad joined the conversation and he said that he would tell them everything. He started telling legend about Kong. And we see a Skull Island. There was a sunset and there was chaos on Skull Island. 2 gorillas were fighting with many lizards. They were male and female and the female gorilla was pregnant. They were fighting so bloody, and they felt that they were going out of power. Male gorilla signed female that he would take care of the lizards, and there was the Kong born. Mother gorilla took him while father gorilla was protecting them. Mother gorilla hid Kong in a small cave where he'd be safe. The gorillas killed all the lizards, I mean skull clawers, but they were damaged so much and they were going out of blood. They were dying when small Kong came out. They died soon. And all Kong could do is to roar and cry. Small Kong roared loudest he could and we get back to the soldiers. Some of them were even crying. Then Alan Jonah, who had no emotion, said, "Okay, get ready, we are almost there." Then we see helicopters which are holding a cannon in which was Ghidorah's blood. They put Ghidorah's blood in the cannon because they should have shot that to Kong. They soon flew up and started flying towards the island. They soon got into the storm. But they came out too fast without any big trouble. They arrived on the island. They put their cannon on the ground, which was pretty big. Kong wasn't seen yet and soldiers knew that he wouldn't appear. So they started burning up forests to have made Kong to appear. Kong noticed them soon and he went towards the burning forest and he was trying to stop the fire. Then cannon shot at Kong, and Kong got grounded. They started leaving the island when Kong got up. First it seemed that this shot didn't have any effect on Kong, but then Kong charged and he was feeling super cool. He was feeling like he was reborn. Helicopters were leaving already when Kong looked at them. Then Kong looked at the burning forest, and he realized that humans burnt almost half of the forest. He got so angry and he decided to take revenge on humans. He didn't know any organizations or anything, he just wanted to kill some people. He went towards the beach and jumped in sea, and he started swimming towards the nearest island. After he jumped in a sea, we see a ground shaking like something was coming from there. Kong was swimming fast as hell. That's because of he was charged in lighting. After an hour of swimming we see him going to other island and there we see a title, Gisborne, New Zealand. After that we get to see a family which is having a picnic, and they hear the roaring of Kong. They look at the beach and they see Kong which was rising from the water. He was looking super scary, and he saw a small village and he saw humans too. He soon remembered what he came here for and he started destroying village. Of course when he was swimming Monarch noticed him and they followed him, and they were shooting the Kong to stop him. They were shooting everything they had but Kong was very strong and he kept destroying the village. Then we get to see shot of Julian Dennison. He was running out from a small house and he looked at Kong which was burning everything to the ground. Then Kong saw Julian and went towards him. Julian was so scared and he was just looking at Kong. Kong was about to hit him when he heard the roar of Godzilla. Kong looked at the ocean and he saw Godzilla which was looking with super angry face. Godzilla didn't seem to be happy about what Kong was doing, and Godzilla roared at him once again. Kong was looking at him like he wanted to say, "Don't get in my way." Godzilla went towards him. Kong went towards him. And the fight begun. Godzilla first tried to bite Kong but Kong soon dodged and hit Godzilla. Godzilla tried once again, but as it appeared Kong was much stronger than Godzilla because Kong was lighting, but Godzilla was trying to stop him anyway. Kong got to Godzilla's jaw and he was trying to break it, but then Godzilla bit him in the fingers. Kong didn't lose fingers. But it was too painful. Then Kong looked at his hands, he realized his power again, he charged his hands and he hit Godzilla. This was so strong that Godzilla flew away and he got knocked out. Kong was feeling super cool and he went towards Godzilla. Godzilla recovered and stood up. Kong charged again and he hit his feet to Godzilla. Godzilla flew away again and he got dropped in a sea. Kong jumped on his back and he was pushing him in the face. Godzilla was close to death, when Kong looked back at the village which was destroyed. He looked at the people which was crying and who was helping the survivors. Kong felt guilty. He realized that not every human on the earth is evil. Then we start to hear some noises which are coming from Godzilla. Kong felt strange, and then Godzilla struck him with atomic breath and Kong got pushed away. Kong was burned also. Then Godzilla stood up. He was so damaged and he looked at Kong once again with an intimidating face. Kong was feeling guilty for killing innocent. He didn't attack anymore, he just swam in the ocean and he started swimming towards the Skull Island. Godzilla was feeling exhausted and he swam in the sea. After that we get to see James Conrad, which is sitting in the room and holding the photo of Madison Weaver from Kong Skull Island. Then Isa Gonzalez came in. If you remember, she was his daughter. Then Isa Gonzalez said that she was missing her mother. Conrad told her that he missed her too, as it was found out Mason and Conrad were married and they got 2 twin sisters, and when the daughters were 8 years old Mason had died with a cancer. Then Isa got tears and she left the room. After that we see Kong, which is swimming towards the Skull Island. When he finally got to Skull Island he stopped on the beach and he was so tired. He started breathing so heavily when the giant bat-like creature, Kamazotz, attacked him. It was the creature which came from the ground. He attacked Kong, he bit him in the neck. Kong tried to take him out but Kamazotz got on his neck and Kong got so angry. Kamazotz was biting him but then Kong finally got him and he dropped him on the lake. And we saw a skull clawer which Kong killed 47 years ago. Kamazotz fell next to Skeleton, and Kong kept him to the ground. Kamazotz was feeling bad and then Kong got his feet up from Kamazotz and he made Kamazotz to bow down to him. After that we get to see a laboratory of Ivanesco which started creating something. Alan, Jonah and Conrad came out and asked the fat doctor about the details. The fat doctor didn't say anything much about it, he just said that this creature which they were making would be very brutal. Then Alexander Skarsgård came, he was doctor also, and asked, "Have you made up name for it?" Then fat doctor answered, "Yes. JM07. Then Alan Jonas said that they'd better start it soon. They started making it. In the center there was some big hole and other small holes around it. They started creating the monster. After that we get to see Godzilla, which is swimming in the ocean, and we soon get to see the Gisborne, which is completely destroyed. Monarch was picking up survivors with vehicles and they were taking them to the safe places. We see Mark Russell, which is arriving in Gisborne with Osprey helicopter. There are some soldiers with him too. Mark saw Sam, which was also in Gisborne. Mark asked him with a bit angry face, "You told me that this Titan couldn't swim." Sam answered, "He couldn't. But he can." After that we get back to a Ivanesco laboratory in which we see doctors which are looking at something. Alan Jonah came in and we see small rooms and monsters were caged inside. There were 18 crab-like creatures, and 19th was 5 bigger than the others and they were sleeping in their small containers. After that we get to see Alexander Skarsgård, Isa Gonzalez and James Conrad, who were sitting and they were drinking Pepsi. Conrad was sad. He was missing his wife, and then another twin, who was played by Daisy Ridley, joined the conversation and she sat next to them. She said that this was a mistake. Then Conrad looked at her with a bit angry face and he asked her, "What is a mistake?" Another twin, let's call her Patricia, said that all of that was a mistake. Titans shouldn't have controlled over the earth and such things. Then Alan Jonah joined them and he told Patricia that she should have calmed down and have listened to him. Patricia started shouting at Alan Jonah. Alan Jonah couldn't keep his anger and he slapped her in the face. Then Conrad got up and hit Alan Jonah. Jonah got grounded and they heard alarm noises. They ran out immediately. Then they looked at the laboratory. The glass was broken, and the crabs were escaped. Only Big One was left. Then Ankaelgon prepared the soldiers, but then Alan Jonah stopped them and he told them that the Big One needed to be fed. That meant that those crab-like creatures would eat humans in Tokyo and they would feed Big One. After that they just go back inside the laboratory and wait. After that we get to see 3 weeks later, we see Lady who is making a poster that somebody disappeared, and we get to see other posters of people disappearing. There was a chaos in Tokyo. 40-50 human would disappear every day, and that's why they started evacuating city. Soon Tokyo was completely empty. It became a ghost town. After that we get to see scientists which are working to make these Toroya bigger, but then the crabs are attacking the laboratory too. Scientists were running, but the crabs were 3 times bigger than humans and they were eating them. The crabs set their complete chaos. After that we get to see inside the building. We see Alan, Jonah, Conrad and the twins are running together. For some reason there wasn't that fat doctor. While running, one of the crabs caught Patricia, one of twins, and it was lacerating her so bloody. Then it dropped her finger away. Conrad caught the finger which the crab threw at him accidentally. Conrad couldn't do anything but to run. After that we see them going outside and getting in the spaceship. They get into spaceship and they are lifting off. Then one of the crabs destroyed a gas balloon-like thing which was keeping radiation inside. There were too many things like that, and we get to see that Evan's laboratory is halfway destroyed. Then we get to see giant red devil-like monster, Beast Toroya, which is rising from there, and he is roaring so loud. The loud was so loud that Godzilla and Kong heard that call. After that we get to see shot of Methuselah, Scylla and Behemoth which are sleeping, and they also hear the call. They're about to stand up, but then they remember who is their true king and they continued sleeping. We also get to see a shot of Titanus Sekhmet, Yamato no Orochi and even Mokumbim, who are also ignoring the call. We see Kong which is seeming a bit angry and he is preparing to go to the call. He is picking the Kamizotz and he is swimming in ocean once again, and he is swimming towards the call place to stop whatever it is there. We also get to see the shot of Godzilla which is getting on land and he is walking on Isla de Mara. We see him roaring and Rodin comes with him. Godzilla picks up Rodin and they are leaving Isla de Mara. Godzilla swam in the ocean and Rodin was sitting on his dorsal fins. After that we get to see the split screens of Godzilla and Kong. They are both swimming towards the place where they heard the call, while Beast Toroya is still there feeding to grow bigger. After an hour of swimming we see Godzilla getting on the land and he is looking around and nobody seems there. We see Rodin which is flying up. Godzilla was about to continue walking when Kong came from the dark and pushed him in the face. Godzilla got hit, but he hit his giant tail to Kong and Kong flew away. And he jumped in Tokyo. Godzilla was going towards Kong. Kong recovered and stood up. Godzilla confronted Kong. Kong jumped up and he hit Godzilla in the face. Godzilla looked at him and he bit him in the neck. And he was dragging Kong. Kong was hitting him in the neck and he finally got out from Godzilla's jaws. And he got Godzilla to the ground and he was hitting him in the face. Godzilla charged his atomic breath and he shot his atomic breath to Kong. Kong got pushed away, and we get to see few Monarch helicopters which are arriving at Tokyo, and they watch Godzilla and Kong fighting. Kong was damaged but he stood up, and he went towards Godzilla. Godzilla was ready to get him but Kong jumped up and he hit Godzilla so strong. He got Godzilla grounded, but then Godzilla used his tail and he hit Kong in the face. Godzilla stood up and he got Kong and he dragged him to one of the buildings and they destroyed building. Then Kong hit Godzilla in the face. Godzilla turned back and he hit his tail to Kong's feet and Kong got knocked out. Godzilla was charging his atomic breath. Kong got up and Godzilla struck him with atomic breath. Kong got grounded, and when Godzilla finished his atomic breath he roared at Kong. Kong stood up and soon he jumped near Godzilla and he hit Godzilla. Godzilla confronted him. They were fighting so brutally. Kong hit Godzilla and Godzilla wasn't feeling good. Then we get to see a Kamizotz flying towards Godzilla. But then Rodin flew in and he attacked Kamizotz. This scene was amazing. Kong and Godzilla at the city and Rodin and Kamizotz in the sky. Kamizotz attacked Rodin. Rodin dodged and he got higher than Kamizotz. And then Rodin caught Kamizotz and he was dragging him to the ground. After that we see Godzilla which is dragging Kong to the building and he knocks Kong. Kong stood up and hit him in the face. Godzilla hit his tail. Kong caught Godzilla's tail and he pulled Godzilla in an air. Since he was charged he could do that, and he threw Godzilla at one of the buildings. After that we see Rodin which pushing Kamizotz away and he is attacking Kong. Kong tried to catch Rodin but then Rodin flew at his back and he beat his feet into Kong's back and it hurt Kong so much. After that there is Kamizotz which is awakening and he is attacking Rodin. Kamizotz got Rodin of Kong and they continued fighting. Kong went towards them to help Kamizotz but Godzilla hit his tail to Kong and Godzilla threw Kong away. As it seemed Godzilla stood up after being thrown. Godzilla was looking at Kong with a super scary face. Kong got so much angrier and he charged again. And he went towards Godzilla to hit him. Godzilla dogged it and Kong hit a building. After 2 seconds Godzilla bit him in the neck and he was biting Kong so painfully. Kong was hitting him in the neck but it wasn't affecting Godzilla. After 1 minute of dragging Godzilla brought him to one of the building as he smashed Kong at it. Kong was feeling so bad and Godzilla looked at him. Then Kong charged once again. And he knocked Godzilla with his feet. Godzilla got knocked out and Kong started to hit him. Soon he got interrupted by Rodan. Rodan just crushed at Kong but after 3 seconds only Kamazotz got Rodan out from Kong. Kong looked back at Godzilla. His dorsal fins were blue. Kong realized what it was but it was too late because Godzilla struck him with atomic breath and he pulled him away.
Kong got pulled away. Godzilla stopped his atomic breath, and he went towards Kong. Kong was charging his hands. He stood up and hit so strong. Godzilla got hurt, but he anyway attacked Kong. Godzilla struck and he started pulling him. Kong slided under Godzilla's legs, and he got on his neck. Godzilla was trying to take him out, but Kong wasn't letting him. After that we see Rodan and Kamazotz which are still fighting each other. Rodan bit Kamazotz in a wing, and he was dragging him down. Kamazotz fell on Godzilla's dorsal fins. Godzilla took him out, and he continued fighting with Kong. Just imagine guys, 15 to 20 minutes fight without humans. Godzilla was biting Kong. Kong got out from his jaw, and he bit him in the jaw. Godzilla tried to bite him again. Kong dodged and hit him again. Godzilla didn't miss this time, and he got to Kong's hand, and he knocked Kong down. Kong got up soon, and he hit Godzilla with his charged hands. Godzilla's eyes were damaged, and he attacked Godzilla and he scratched Kong's chest so painfully. This fighting was so brutal. Both Kong and Godzilla were damaged. Kong charged again, and he pushed Godzilla. Godzilla got knocked out. Kong was going towards. Godzilla stood up and he bit Kong in a hand. Kong was trying to get his hands out, and he lost one finger. It was too painful for Kong. After only 3 seconds Godzilla struck him in the neck. Kong was trying to take him out, but Godzilla was holding on his neck so strong. But Kong finally took him out, and he pushed Godzilla in the face so hard. Godzilla got knocked. After that we see Rodan which is seeing that Godzilla needs help, but Rodan is also fighting Kamazotz. Rodan attacked Kamazotz, and he knocked him on the ground. Godzilla was so damaged. Kong was about to hit him when Rodan attacked him, and he pulled Kong away. Kong was trying to catch Rodan, but Rodan was fighting him from above. Godzilla stood up, and he went towards Rodan and Kong. But then Kamazotz attacked Godzilla. Godzilla tried to catch him with his teeth, but Kamazotz was flying around, and he was starching Godzilla. Godzilla got angry, he swung his tail, and he knocked out Kamazotz, and he went towards Kong. Kong caught Rodan with Rodan's feet, and he was dropping him on the ground. Then Kong threw Rodan at Godzilla. Rodan realized what was happening when he was in the air, and he flew towards Kamazotz. Godzilla was going towards Kong. After that we see Fat Doctor who is still near the laboratory, and we see other small village near the Ivanesco building. The Fat Doctor went in, and we see a bag in which we see there is small part of Ghidorah's blood. The Fat Doctor took it and he went towards city. He should have walked the destroyed Tokyo to have got at the beach. After that we see Monarch base, where we see David which is spying at one of the Osprey helicopters. When the Osprey pilot left the helicopter, David got in the Osprey helicopter and he flew away. While he was flying he was holding the photo of Fat Doctor, and then David said in his heart, "I will kill you for what you did to my father," as it was found out the Fat Doctor poisoned his father. After that we see a shot of Godzilla and Kong fighting. Godzilla got Kong to the ground, and he bit him on a leg. Then Kong hit him in the face, and he stood up. Godzilla turned back, and he hit his tail to Kong's legs. Kong got grounded. Then Kong tried to get up, but Godzilla struck him with atomic breath. Kong got grounded again, and this time Godzilla stepped his feet on Kong's chest. Godzilla was looking so angry, then he was about to push his feet to Kong's chest, when he heard the roar of Destoroyah. Godzilla looked at the laboratory, and we saw Destoroyah which was rising again, but he was grown so much. He was 2 times bigger than Godzilla and Kong. And Destoroyah roared.
The Destoroyah roar had still left small noise of Ghidorah. Godzilla heard that and he got so angry he remembered Ghidorah and he didn't stare at Destoroyah too much. He started going towards him. Kong was trying to get up but Godzilla hit him his tail and he knocked Kong. Godzilla confronted Destoroyah. Destoroyah jumped towards and they started fighting. Destoroyah was so big but Godzilla wasn't giving up. Destoroyah got Godzilla up from him and he hit his tail to Godzilla. Godzilla caught his tail with his teeth and he was hurting Destoroyah so much. Destoroyah swinged his tail and he got Godzilla up from him. Godzilla laid on the ground. Destoroyah started going towards. Godzilla struck him with atomic breath, but it didn't have much effect on Destoroyah. Destoroyah looked at Godzilla, which was standing up, but then Rodan attacked Destoroyah. As it seemed, Rodan won against Kamsitz, and Rodan starched Destoroyah's eye. Destoroyah tried to catch Rodan, but then Godzilla shot his atomic breath to Destoroyah and he hurt him so much. Destoroyah swinged his tail again and he threw Godzilla away. Rodan was fighting him, but Destoroyah caught him with his mouth and he dropped him on the ground. And he knocked him out with his tail. Then Destoroyah started going towards Godzilla. Godzilla saw him. He tried to get up, but then Destoroyah jumped towards him and he bit him in the neck. He got to the ground. Godzilla shot his atomic breath to Destoroyah's chest. But it didn't affect Destoroyah. Then Destoroyah was about to kill Godzilla when Kong jumped on him and he hit ship to Destoroyah. Destoroyah fell on the ground and Kong kept hitting him. Godzilla was standing up. Kong was hitting him with a ship when Destoroyah tried to swing his tail towards Kong. Godzilla caught Destoroyah's tail with his teeth. After 10 seconds, Rodan and Kamizatsu attacked Destoroyah. Destoroyah got out from them. And he jumped 700 meters away. He looked at Godzilla, Kong, Rodan and Kamizatsu, who were standing like a team. Destoroyah got angry and he started getting up. Godzilla, Kong, Rodan and Kamizatsu went towards Destoroyah. Godzilla struck Destoroyah with atomic breath and Kong jumped on his head. Rodan attacked to his right wing and Kamizatsu attacked left wing. They were fighting Destoroyah. Destoroyah first took Rodan and Kamizatsu, but when Godzilla stopped he hit his tail Destoroyah in the face. Cause Destoroyah was grounded. Destoroyah then got knocked out. But he got up soon. He hit his tail to Kong and he threw Kong away. Then Kamizatsu and Rodan sat on his and they were starching Destoroyah so much. Destoroyah then caught Kamizatsu and he dropped him on the ground. Rodan got on his back and he started starching him. But Destoroyah caught Rodan with his tail and he dropped him on the ground. Kong was hitting Destoroyah in the legs. Destoroyah looked at Kong. Kong jumped and he hit Destoroyah. Destoroyah got exhausted, but then he hit Kong with his feet. It hurt Kong so much, but then Godzilla attacked Destoroyah. And he bit Destoroyah in a wing. Destoroyah was trying to swing his tail when Kamizatsu attacked Destoroyah. Kamizatsu sat on one of Destoroyah's wings. Kamizatsu was eating his wing and he made a hole out of the wing. It made Destoroyah so angry. And he tried to swing his tail but was keeping it on the ground. When after 5 seconds Destoroyah got shot by atomic breath in the face. Godzilla was shooting his atomic breath. Kong was holding his tail so strong and Kamizatsu and Rodan were starching Destoroyah. Teamwork. Destoroyah was suffering, but then he took out Kong from his tail and he hit the tail to Godzilla. And he took Rodan down with his mouth. Kamizatsu tried to fly up. But Destoroyah caught his wing with his mouth and he took him down and he was holding Kamizatsu with mouth. Then Destoroyah started getting him in his mouth and he ate Kamizatsu's head and he dropped his body on the ground. Kong was getting up when he saw dead Kamizatsu. He got so angry. Destoroyah looked at him. When he got hit by atomic breath in the face, he got so damaged that he got knocked out and Godzilla was going towards him. God also started going towards him. Godzilla stepped on him. When Kong came and pushed him in the face. Then Destoroyah stuck his tail to Godzilla's dorsal fins. And threw Godzilla at Rodan. Godzilla fell on Rodan. Rodan didn't die, but it was too painful. Kong kept hitting when Destoroyah bit him in the hand and he dropped Kong on the left. Then Destoroyah got up and he pulled Kong up. And dropped Kong on the ground. Then he hit his tail to Kong and he pulled him to the ground. Then Destoroyah pulled up Kong with his hands and he dropped Kong again. Kong was so exhausted and he was trying to stand up when Destoroyah tried to hit him with his tail. Godzilla was holding his tail and he teared off a small part of his tail. Destoroyah was bleeding and he got so angry. He first hit Kong with his tail and threw Kong away. Then he looked at Godzilla with super angry face. Godzilla was about to shoot his atomic breath when Destoroyah hit his tail to Godzilla and he knocked Godzilla to the ground. Destoroyah was so angry. He was looking like a demon. Godzilla was ground when Destoroyah looked at him. Then he took him up with his hands, and he was about to bite him when he got hit in the eye by a cannon. After that we see a Argo, which has the cannon which Mark Russell was testing. It was also holding the giant axe. It completely destroyed Destoroyah's eye. Destoroyah got exhausted and he dropped Godzilla on the ground. Then Argo flew with Kong and they dropped the axe to Kong. Kong started running towards Destoroyah. And he hit axe to Destoroyah in the neck. and he jumped from there soon. He jumped near Destoroyah. Destoroyah was bleeding from his neck. Destoroyah got angry and he striked Kong. Kong looked with badass face and he hit his axe to destroy the face and Destoroyah got grounded. After that we see a fat doctor which is running in destroyed streets of Tokyo. When he was running he saw Monarch Osprey helicopter. He got scared and he turned around and he saw a supermarket. He went in a supermarket. Then Osprey landed in Tokyo. Right in front of that supermarket. Osprey said there a small dust. Then David started coming down with badass look and face. He was holding MP40 in his hands. Fat doctor saw him from inside. David started shooting at closed supermarket door. And the bullets went through the door. The bullets drilled the door. Fat doctor took cover. He was also holding a case in which was blood of Ghidorah. Fat doctor took out his pistol and he started shooting. David got cover behind a car. Fat doctor shot the car twice and he started running away. David saw him and he chased him. And he started shooting him. Fat doctor got in the basement of the supermarket. And he was waiting for David to show up. He was holding the pistol and whenever the David would come inside he'd shoot at him. But then door got slightly opened. And David shot a smoke bomb which set there complete smoke. Fat doctor was afraid first but then he started getting up slowly and he went inside the smoke when he got shot in the stomach. It hurt him so much and he fell on ground with his knees. Then smoke was slowly disappearing when we saw David which was coming out from the smoke. He was looking with so evil face. The fat doctor tried to pull up his pistol when David shot him in the hand. The fat doctor lost 3 fingers and he dropped bloody pistol to the ground. Fat doctor was in so big pain. He was looking at David like he wanted him to show mercy. Then David got called by Monarch and they told him that they were there already. David said okay with evil face. After that we see a Destoroyah which is trying to get up and Kong was looking at him with badass face. After that we see Godzilla which is charging atomic breath. But he is so weak, he looked at Kong with so badass face like he signed him something. Then Kong charged in to shoot electric pulse to Godzilla's dorsal fins. And Godzilla shot orange electricity with little atomic breath mixed. He shot his atomic pulse not breath, and it really had more effect than atomic breath. Then Kong jumped up and he cut off Destoroyah's right wing. Then got to his head and he started hitting him with his charged hand. After that we see Osprey helicopter which is arriving at Tokyo and they are getting at supermarket. They get inside and they see chained fat doctor. And they see David which is saying hello to them. Monarch soldier or G-team, it's same, said good job to him. Then they were about to take fat doctor to Osprey when David started shooting at G-team which weren't wearing big armor. And he killed them all. The far doctor looked at him and he said to David, "You were a nice boy. Now help me get up." David started helping him to get up but after 3 seconds he knocked fat doctor and he aimed his MP40 to him and he said, "No, I'm not good boy." And he shot him 1 bullet in the head. Then he took his phone and he called Alan Jonah. Alan Jonah said to him, "Okay, good job. Now I want you to bring me the case." Then David told him that he killed fat doctor. Alan Jonah told him that it was alright because he wasn't trusting the fat doctor anyway. After that we see Rudin which is getting up and he is flying towards Destoroyah. He was about to attack Destoroyah when Destoroyah got up. He swinged his tail to Godzilla and Kong and he knocked both of them to the ground. Then got to Rudin and he caught Rudin with his hands and he knocked him on the ground. And he hit Rudin his giant fat leg. Rudin didn't die but it was too painful. After that we see Destoroyah which started regeneration. He first grew his tail. Then he healed his damaged face and then he grew his wing again. After that we see USS Argo which is flying near to Destoroyah and they are shooting him. Destoroyah hit his tail to Argo and Argo slowly fell on the ground. After that we see inside the Argo which is halfway destroyed and we see Mark Russell, Sam Coleman and other soldiers which are trying to get out from there. Mark was already come out and few soldiers came out too. Then we see Sam Coleman which is stuck inside. Mark tried to help him but Destoroyah took Argo with his knife tail and he threw it at Tokyo and Argo got exploded. Then we see Godzilla and Kong who are knocked out together. Destoroyah started going towards them. When 8-headed Hydra attacked him. And he was fighting Destoroyah, then Destoroyah tried to take him out when giant 80-metered tiger, Titanus Sekhmet, attacked him and he helped Yamato no Orochi. Then Destroy was about to swing his tail when giant brontosaurus-like titan, Mokum Beam, held his tail with his legs. After that we see giant sea creature, Titanus Leviathan, which is rising for the water and he is going towards Destroy. Then Godzilla and Kong stood up. Destroy got scared and he took them all out and he jumped away. He was so damaged. Then he looked at Godzilla and Kong. There were also standing other 4 titans. We soon got to see Titanus Methuselah, Scylla and Behemoth, which came and stood with the titans. Then Rodan flew in and he sat on Methuselah. There were 10 titans versus Destroy. And they all confronted Destroy and they attacked him at different places. And after half minute of fighting they knocked him on the ground and they were keeping him grounded. Then Kong charged again and he charged Godzilla. Godzilla shot him in the neck and he damaged Destroy so much. Then Kong came in, he took his axe and he cut off Destroy's horn. Then Destroy got out from them and he started flying up in the sky. Godzilla struck him with atomic breath and he destroyed him in air. Then Kong started punching his chest and he started roaring. Godzilla roared too. And other titans started roaring. It was 10 titans roaring sound, which really be amazing. After that we see the titans swimming into the sea and they are leaving. We see Yamato no Orochi, which is going towards Mount Fuji with legs, cause Mount Fuji is in Japan. Then we saw Rodan, which flew away. After that Kong and Godzilla looked at each other. And they both swam at different locations of the sea. After that we see Dr. Mark Russell and Dr. Chen, which are getting back home. Madison Russell gets so happy and she is hugging them. After that we see Ankaogon spaceship, which is arriving at Bambari, Central African Republic. We see secret base there and we see a green flower and Patricia's finger, which are put in the laboratory. We soon get to see David, which is bringing a case and he is taking out small contain in which there is small part of Ghidorah's yellow blood. Then when everything was ready, Alan Jonah told scientists to have started working. Then he turned back to James Conrad and he told him, "Long live the Queen." In post-credit scenes we see Dr. Chen and Dr. Ling, which are arriving at Narsok, Greenland with Osprey helicopter. Then they get into a base which is inside the mountain, which is covered with snow. They get inside and they see new Mothra larva, which was more likely in yellow colors. Then Madison Russell started going towards Mothra larva. Then soldiers tried to stop her, but Dr. Chen said to them that it was our wraith. Then Madison got closer to Mothra larva and she touched her with her hand. In end credits scene we see Mark Russell, which is talking to Dr. Stanton, and they are walking in big corridor. There is being written Tampang, Indonesia. Mark asked him, What was the name of that creature? Dr. Stanton answered that it was Dagon. Then Mark asked him that he had heard about Mechanic Titan which they were building near the Skull Island. But then Dr. Stanton answered that the Mechanic Titan on Skull Island was only about 40 meters high. Then Mark was about to ask something when they opened the door. They got in a huge underground base. And they saw one soldier which was walking towards them. Then Dr. Stanton told the soldier to have lit up the lights. Soldier called boss of this place and they lit the lights. Then we saw giant robotic Godzilla. I mean Mecha Godzilla. Mark was so excited. And then he asked Dr. Stanton, "You could use this to help Godzilla and Kong. Why didn't you?" Then Dr. Stanton answered that this wasn't finished yet. Then he stepped few steps towards Mechanic Giant and he said, "Now it's done." The movie opens up in the jungle and the beach. There is being written Japan. 1100 BC. We see something really big stepping on the land. And we soon get that it's Muta Prime. She is walking towards something and we get to see a Godzilla-like creature Dagon, which is roaring at Muta Prime. Muta Prime gets angry and she's attacking him. Dagon swings his tail but Muta dodges and she is attacking Dagon and she bites him in the neck. Dagon tries to take her out but Muta Prime is so strong. Dagon finally takes her out and he is pushing her away. Muta Prime is looking at him with so angry face. Dagon roared at Muta Prime. Muta didn't wait more and she attacked him and she bite him in the leg and she soon got him to the ground. Dagon was trying to get up but Muta Prime was holding him so strong and she used his special legs to put 2 eggs into Dagon's body. And then she left. Dagon was so damaged but he wasn't dead yet. He opened his eyes and he stood up slowly and he started swimming into the ocean. While 2 eggs were growing into his body which were feeding on his body. Just imagine 2 eggs feeding on you and growing in your body. Dagon was in so big pain. But he anyway swam to the Philippines. And he found the cave. He got inside and he was so close to death. Then he died and laid on the ground. While the eggs were still feeding on his dead body. That's how Dagon ended up in his final place. After that there is a title. Present day. We see 4 trucks which are going somewhere. There is being written, Banbrari, Central Africa Republic. We see a underground bunker entrance-like door. As it seems it's secret base of Apex. I decided that in Kaogan changed their name. The trucks get inside and we see Conrad coming down from one of the trucks. Alan Jonah welcomes him. And they start walking in corridor. Then they get into a giant underground base and we see giant plant flower-like thing. Bioland, which is surrounded by troops and some cranes. Then Alan Jonah asked Conrad, "Where is the blood? Looks like they needed blood of something." Then Conrad answered that they sent special team to take a blood. After that we get to see a shot of destroyed Tokyo. Then we see trucks which are riding in the streets. Then we see armored forces which are soldiers of Apex. They get out of the truck and they start hiding in ashes like they are waiting for something. Then we see 2 of these tortoise crabs which are walking in the streets. The soldiers soon took out their special weapons which was holding the crabs on the ground. The crabs were pretty big. Around 16 feet. Then Apex brought blood containers and they killed crabs to have taken the blood. They took the blood and they made both crabs empty from blood. And they took blood away. After that we see Madison Russell which is preparing her suitcase to go to Hong Kong. Then we see Dr. Chen which coming out from her room with suitcase. Dr. Chen and Madison Russell are going to Hong Kong. Then they get outside the house and we see Mark Russell with brand new Jeep. They get inside the Jeep and they are going to airport. Soon they farewell each other and Madison and Chen are getting in the airplane and they are leaving. Then Mark Russell calls someone and he is saying that he is coming. Then we see entrance of some underground base of Monarch. We see Mark Russell which is sighting in a military jeep and they are getting him inside the base. After he walks a corridor he sees. Finished. And badass human-made giant. Mecha Godzilla. The Mechanic Titan which was built on the bones of Dagon. Mark Russell was excited and then Charles Kraus. The head of the secret base told Mark that they should have taken it to Tokyo. Then Mark Russell told him that how they were going to do this. Then Charles answered that aircraft carrier was coming. After that we see helicopter which is going to Narsok, Greenland. We soon get to see Monarch members which are coming out from the base. And we see Mothra larva. She is getting out of the mountain and she is climbing on the top of the mountain. She soon starts to grow up and she unleashes her wings. From the far we see Mothra twins Dr. Chen and Ling, which are singing Mothra song. Mothra grows on her full size. And she starts flying up. After that we see Apex Base and Bambari. We see them evacuating the base because the flower of Biolant is starting to break out. They get out soon and they start getting into the vehicles and they're leaving. We soon see Biolant which is breaking out from underground base and she starts going towards the Amazon jungle. Long walk, right? After that we see the helicopter which is flying somewhere and we soon get to see Skull Island. We see small base of Mechagodzilla on Skull Island. They're humans just sitting in the controlling center and in front of them is small Mechagodzilla, 132 feet. People there didn't have much work to do. Some of them were scrolling through their phones, some of them were sleeping. Soon they are being attacked by Apex. And they kill everyone there. Then we see Nancy Conrad, Jacob Thomas and David Denver from previous scenario. Then they stand in front of small Mechagodzilla. Then David asked, "Okay. Now what?" Then Nancy answered that the big Mechagodzilla which they needed was on aircraft carrier and the aircraft carrier was surrounded with so good battleships for safety. But this 40-meter giant is not to break through them. Then David was about to ask something when Jacob told him, "We use small ones to get big one." Then David got everything and they started launching small Mechagodzilla. Then another small Mechagodzilla also got launched, as it seems Apex attacked second base too. Then we see aircraft carrier which is transporting big Mechagodzilla. And it's surrounded by two battleships. Soon one of the battleships gets attacked by their rockets and we see two small Mechagodzillas which are swimming towards the aircraft carrier. Monarch started preparing their cannons. And they tried to turn them off but Apex turned off every type of control from Monarch. Small Mechagodzillas attacked battleships and they started destroying everything. They soon sunk both of the battleships. Then Apex arrived on aircraft carrier with helicopter and they killed some people there. Then when almost every Monarch member was dead, Alan Jonah came down from helicopter. David also followed him and Alan Jonah told him, "Okay, here is our Mechagodzilla." Then David looked at Mechagodzilla, big Mechagodzilla, and he said, "Okay, now let me get in." He soon got in and they turned big Mechagodzilla. They dropped small Mechagodzillas and big Mechagodzilla destroyed small ones. Then Mechagodzilla roared and he swam to the ocean. After that we see Dr. Chen and Madison which are arriving from Greenland to Hong Kong with private jet. And they are going to hotel with jeep. They soon get into the 5-star hotel room and they start resting. After that we see Biolant which is swimming towards another beach. She soon gets to Amazon jungle. And she is walking on the jungle. She soon finds her place to rest and she is resting. Then she starts digging the ground and she buries herself in the ground. Later we see Godzilla swimming towards Amazon jungle but he is around 500 kilometers away. And before he arrives there Biolant will be fully fed. After that we see Apex Base where Alan Jonah is talking to Conrad. Alan Jonah says that they should start destroying one city to cause Godzilla go there and they will kill him using Mechagodzilla. Then Conrad said that it was good idea. And then Nancy asked, "Okay, at which city are we going?" Then Alan Jonah answered, "Hong Kong." After we see Godzilla which is swimming towards the beach. He soon rises and he walks on the beach of the land. He is looking around and we see Biolant which is grown on full size and she is rising. Godzilla gets angry and he is about to attack when Rodan sitting next to Godzilla. We soon get to see Mothra coming out from the clouds and she is joining the fight. Biolant couldn't wait anymore. She roared so loud and she pulled up her foreheads and he started choking Godzilla. Then Rudden attacked Violent and she started starching her face. Then Mothra plugged her legs into Violent's body. Violent got hurt and she took her legs out of Godzilla's legs and she swinged them to Rudden and she soon got Rudden to the ground. But then Mothra struck her in the face. Violent got so angry but then Godzilla struck her with atomic breath. Violent tried to swing one of her heads but Godzilla caught it and he ate it off it. Violent swinged another head to Godzilla and it bit Godzilla in the neck. Then Rudden and Mothra attacked Violent and they started fighting her. Then we see Osprey landing far from them and we see Dr. Mark Russell, Dr. Stanton and G-Team, which are watching from far away. Godzilla was trying to attack Violent but Violent soon got him to the ground and she soon dropped Rudden to the ground. Then Violent was going towards Godzilla when Mothra struck her in eyes and she made Violent blind. Violent got exhausted and she soon got knocked to the ground. Then Godzilla caught his mouth with his hands. Violent was trying to fight but she was so weak. And Godzilla struck to Violent with atomic breath right in the mouth. Then we see Dr. Stanton which is saying, "Long live the king." After that we see Apex Base. We see Alan Jonah which is angry that Violent is dead, but then Conrad said that there were other hopes too. But then Nancy Jacob asked. After Godzilla fought Violent which was nearly 2 times bigger than him, how can we hope that he doesn't beat Mechagodzilla which is bigger with 30 meters only? Then Nancy agreed to Jacob and she said that only one creature wasn't enough, but then Conrad and Alan left and then Alan Jonah said, "Who said that there is only one?" Then Nancy laughed and she asked, "Do you seriously think that 40-metered mechas would be useful?" Then Alan Jonah answered, "No, but I've not mentioned 40-metered mechas." Then Jacob asked, "Okay, then what's second hope?" Alan Jonah answered, "King Ghidorah." Then Jacob and Nancy laughed again. Then Jacob told him, "Seriously, Ghidorah's dead over the year and his head is empty from blood and it started to get skeletoned." Then Alan Jonah answered, "What do you think? What did we bring the blood of JM07's crabs? And why do we keep Kong's finger?" Jacob answered, "Probably. You want to sell them?" Then Alan answered, "No. I want to mix their blood into one place which is Ghidorah's head." Then Jacob asked him how he'd do that. Then Conrad, "We should take his head on the top of the mountain and then hit some electricity after we take bloods in his head. And he will get slowly revived." Then Jacob told him that it wasn't that easy. But then Patricia said that it was good idea. After that we see Godzilla which is going from Amazon jungle and he is swimming in the ocean. There are Mothra and Rudden which are following him. But they fly above Godzilla. After that we see Mechagodzilla which is walking in the sea and it's going towards Hong Kong. After that we see Hong Kong and we see Madison Russell which is on pretty good mood. She is playing Fortnite on her PS4, when she hears the roar of robotic Godzilla. She looked from the glass wall and she saw Mechanic Godzilla which was shooting rockets at the city. She got scared and then Dr. Chen and Madison went out from a hotel. Soon hotel got shot by rockets and it got halfway destroyed. Then we see Dr. Chen and Madison running away but Mechagodzilla stamps in front of them. Then Mechagodzilla looks at Madison and Chen. Then it's about to hit them in the foot when it heard the roar of Godzilla. Mechagodzilla looked at the beach and it saw Godzilla which was walking towards Mech. Then Godzilla roared and we saw Mothra and Rudden entering the city. Mothra sat on Godzilla's dorsal fins. And Rudden sat on one of the buildings and he roared. I really wanted Rudden to do this amazing thing from old movies again. And then Godzilla went towards Mechagodzilla.
After that we see Alan Jonah which is arriving somewhere with helicopter, and we soon get that he is on the top of the mountain, and we get to see King Ghidorah's head which is put in front of him. And we see few troops of Apex which are surrounding King Ghidorah's head. The head is also surrounded with some type of cannons that shoot electricity. Then Conrad is coming with Alan Jonah and he tells him okay, it's about to start and we better not be too close. Then everyone is getting into helicopters and they are flying far with 600 meters and they watch reviving process. Then cannons start to hit electricity to Ghidorah's head. Apex mixed stories. Kong's and Violent's blood to have made Ghidorah even stronger. Then head is being hit by too much electricity and it opened the eyes. The head was zombie-like but it regenerated soon. Then Ghidorah's neck started to grow in size. It got full-sized neck. At first he was like Manda, but then body started to grow out of it and it soon got legs, then its wings grew up, and soon another 2 heads were grown. Ghidorah was already fully grown, and it was a perfect organism. He stood up and thunder hit right behind of him. Then we see a Langiolo which is watching from helicopter, and he says if the queen can't kill the king, the false king will. Then they fly away and disappear in the dust. We see Ghidorah realizing that he is now able to fight. He is roaring with sound of happiness, and he flies up. After that we see Hong Kong where Godzilla and Mechagodzilla are fighting. Godzilla tries to bite Mechagodzilla in the neck, but Mechagodzilla dodges, and he hits Godzilla. After that we see Rodan attacking Mechagodzilla, but Mechagodzilla soon dodges and Rodan falls on the ground. Then Mothra attacks Mechagodzilla and she plugs her legs into Mechagodzilla, but Mechagodzilla soon takes her out and it's thrown her at one of the buildings and it knocks her out. Then Mechagodzilla looks back at Godzilla and it sees that Godzilla's dorsal fins are blue. Mechagodzilla was about to roar when Godzilla struck it with atomic breath. Mechagodzilla got so damaged and it knocked to the ground. Then Godzilla went towards it. Mechagodzilla soon stood up and it hit Godzilla in the face. Godzilla struck back and he bit it in the neck and he started dragging it. Soon he crashed Mechagodzilla to one of the buildings and the whole building fell on Mechagodzilla. Then we airplane flying in the sky and we see soldiers which are doing halo jump to rescue survivors. Soon they arrive at the city and they start searching survivors, but soon 4 of them is being crushed by Mechagodzilla's leg. And we get back to Godzilla. Mechagodzilla fighting. Godzilla was biting Mechagodzilla. Mechagodzilla was punching. The battle was going super crazy. Mechagodzilla hit its tail at Godzilla, but Godzilla caught the tail. Mechagodzilla soon hit him hands, and it's knocking him to the ground, and Godzilla falls right in front of Madison and Chen. Then Mechagodzilla was about to hit him again when Rodan attacked it. Mechagodzilla started fighting Rodan, and we get back to fallen Godzilla drive. Chen was telling Madison Russell touched Godzilla with her hand, and she started talking to Godzilla that he should have risen. Godzilla opened his eyes. Madison told him that world needed him, and he should have risen and killed Mechagodzilla. Then we hear Mechagodzilla and Rodan fighting sounds, and we get to Mechagodzilla which is knocking Rodan to the ground, and it's heading towards Godzilla. Godzilla still doesn't get up, and we see soldiers which came down to save them. Then Dr. Chen and Madison are leaving the place where Godzilla is laying, and we see Mechagodzilla which is unlocking his knifed hands, and it was about to kill Godzilla when King Ghidorah attacked Mechagodzilla, and King Ghidorah was tearing it apart. Then Ghidorah took Mechagodzilla in the air and he dropped it to the ground. Mechagodzilla was so damaged when King Ghidorah shot his gravity beams to it and he completely destroyed Mechagodzilla. Then King Ghidorah hears some noises. He looks at the right and he sees Godzilla which is standing up.
Ghidorah looks at Godzilla with so angry face. Godzilla first thought that Ghidorah was helping him, but then he realized that they were ultimate rivals and he roared at King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah roared too, but then Rodan flew in to throw a part of building to Ghidorah. Then Mothra flew in and she starched Ghidorah's wings and she sat on Godzilla. So you got what you wanted. Godzilla, Mothra and Rodan versus King Ghidorah without humans. Ghidorah gets angry and he flies up and attacks Godzilla. Godzilla catches him through his neck and he is dropping him to the ground. Soon Rodan attacks Ghidorah and he starts biting him in the neck. But Ghidorah soon stands up and he takes Rodan out. But then Godzilla attacks him and he bites him in the neck. Ghidorah bites Godzilla with 2 other heads, but then Ghidorah flies up a bit and he drops Godzilla to the back. Godzilla tries to get up and Ghidorah hits him his tail and he is knocking him out. Then we see Mothra which is flying towards Ghidorah. Ghidorah is charging his gravity beams to shoot Mothra when Rodan flies in front of Mothra and Rodan gets hit instead of Mothra and Rodan falls. Mothra realizes that and she attacks Ghidorah and she plunges her legs into Ghidorah's body. Then Godzilla gets up and he is knocking Ghidorah to the ground. Mothra is stick to Ghidorah and she is drinking his blood. Then Godzilla steps his foot on Ghidorah's body and Mothra gets Ghidorah off and she is sighting on Ghidorah's center head and she is starching him. Then Godzilla takes Ghidorah through his tail and he is throwing Ghidorah at one of the buildings and he is knocking Ghidorah out. Ghidorah seemed way more weaker than his previous version. Then Godzilla started going towards Ghidorah when Ghidorah rose and he attacked Godzilla. But then Mothra attacked his right head and Rodan attacked left head. While Godzilla attacked middle head and they made teamwork just like 1964. Ghidorah was trying to escape but they were holding him so strong. But King Ghidorah finally escapes and he is catching Mothra with his heads and he is tearing her apart. Then he is throwing her at Godzilla. Godzilla dodges and he is going towards Ghidorah. Ghidorah flies up but Godzilla hits him his tail and Ghidorah gets so damaged. But Ghidorah soon he recovers and he is attacking Godzilla with his 3 heads. Godzilla catches one of his heads and he is dropping Ghidorah to the ground. And then he steps on his back and he is charging his atomic breath and he is shooting Ghidorah in the neck and his left head is being cut off. Then Rodan and Mothra are taking left head in the air and they are tearing it apart. Mothra is starching it while Rodan is eating it. Then two-headed Ghidorah tries to escape but Godzilla holds him so strong. Then Godzilla is biting Ghidorah in right head and he is tearing this head from him and Ghidorah has left one head and then Godzilla is attacking Ghidorah in the wings and he is tearing the wings apart. Ghidorah was so weak when Godzilla stepped on him. And he roared for the victory. Then he looked back at Ghidorah and he crushed his head with his legs. Godzilla has won once again against Ghidorah. Then we see Mothra and Rodan sitting in front of Godzilla. Godzilla was so damaged and tired because he fought 3 monsters. And each of them did so big damage and Godzilla started swimming in the ocean. He soon swam into the ocean and he soon disappears in the ocean. Then we see Mothra and Rodan flying away. After that we see Mark Russell which is so worried and he is waiting for Jet of Monarch which is bringing survivors. Then he meets Dr. Chen and Madison and they hug each other. Then we see Godzilla which is swimming underwater, and he is swimming in some type of cave, as it seems Godzilla found his new house. In end credits scene we see ocean and we soon get to the beach and we see Kong which is roaring.